Well, hello my beautiful people, welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and if you are new, welcome to you as well. This is Christine, your DIY craftaholic, so let's get crafting. So it's another look for less challenge, more on that in the video, but let's jump into DIY number 1. Now this is a blessed sign that I saw on Big Lots. Simple blessed sign. So here I'm using this blessed sign from Dollar Tree from the Birch and Vine collection, and I'm removing the bead on the string, and because I don't want to take them off the string, I took a piece of tape and taped down the jute cord on one of the bead, and I'll set that aside. And then I painted this with DIYS chalk paint from Dollar Tree. I thought of leaving it as is, just like the inspiration piece is, but then I said no, let me try and do something else. So here I went in, or tried to paint out the black parts with some of the mixed paint, but that wasn't looking like I wanted it to look, so I changed my mind and painted it out black. I decided then to just paint the letters, and I took one of my gold paint pen and I'm just coloring the word, and this is going to be over a period of time, so I did that off camera. And here it is days after, and some of the areas that the gold pen got on, I took the furniture marker and just colored that back in. And for hanging, I took a small piece of jute cord, knotted both ends, and glued that at the back. I went over it with some Mod Podge. And this sign is done. Theirs $5.99, mine $1.25 with some paint. This is the Look for Less Dupe It Challenge, and that's hosted by Zulia from It's Zulia G, friend CJ DIY, and we have our guest host Zaina from OK at Home. These ladies are very talented. You have to check them out. I will leave links to their channels in the description box below, as well as the playlist, so make sure to check them out once you get done watching my video. Alright, let's get on to DIY number 2. Alright, so this next one was from Pier 1, and guys, look at the price. Now this is a larger dupe, but I did not make mine this large. I decided to go smaller and make 2. When I went back to check the site, they had none left. Can you believe it, guys? Anyway, let's jump into what I made. And these are the items that you are going to need. These are balloon sticks from Dollar Tree. You're going to need a foam board. And I was trying to decide whether I'm going to use a gold marker or the white marker. I chose to go with the gold. I'm only using the stick portion, and I took my X-Acto knife and I just cut them all the way down. Now this, you have to be very careful, guys, because this is a sharp instrument, that one, and I'm going to show you how I did it, and be very careful with this. And because the foam board was a little longer than the stakes, I'm just measuring where I needed to cut, and I left a little portion on the end. Now once I measured that, I took the pencil and just made a small mark, and then just cut down the foam board to the desired size. And now I have all of them cut. There are 8 pieces. I took them outside and I sprayed them with Rust-Oleum metallic finish. This is what I had to do in order to spray them. I took some bamboo skewers, and I had this piece of foam, and I just placed the skewers down and then dropped the stakes over the foam to have them standing upright. I started out by spraying them this wide apart, but as you notice, I'm just wasting the spray. So eventually I moved them closer so I could spray them even, and then I left them outside to dry for a few hours. And while the stakes were drying, here I am just testing out which one of these markers that I wanted to use. Now on the inspiration piece, they used the white. Now I'm gonna go with the gold, and I'm just arbitrarily just drawing lines that represent a road from one corner to the next at the top. I decided I wanted the line to be a little thicker, so here I am just going over like adding a second line to make it thicker, and I will do that until I have completed this one. Because I'm doing 2, I need to mirror that image, so I'm gonna take a sheet of or a piece of parchment paper that was long enough to cover the line on the board, and then I just took pieces of masking tape and taped down the paper on the board, and then I used the pencil to just lightly trace, because you don't want to leave that imprint on the board. You just want to trace out the line. So I lightly traced the line with the pencil, not pressing too hard, from one end to the next. And then I removed it and flipped it over, because now I'm going to brighten that line a little bit more, because I need to see from the other side when it's flipped over. And then once I flipped it over, now I'm taping it down again, and then took the pencil and lightly just try to see where the line is, and I'm just lightly tracing, pressing hard enough where I can get just a little amount of imprint on the board. And then I took the gold marker again, trying to find where the line is, and I'll trace until I get from one end to the next. And when that was done, if you look at it closely, it looks like the mirror imaged. And then I did the same thing, just making the line a little thicker. And now our stakes are dried, and I'm just showing you how I did one off camera. This is the hard part, guys, and you have to be patient with this part. Now I'm going to find where I had slit the line, or make that slit in the middle of the stake, and like I said, it's very challenging. And here I'm just showing you where, if you're not careful, you're gonna have like creases on your foam, so you have to be careful. Now for this one, I didn't like how it looked, that single line, so I went ahead and did a second line, and that's what I'm showing you there, which is a little different from the inspiration piece. I cut the ends at a 45-degree angle, and then just slide them over the board. Now I took the X-Acto knife and I am cutting at the 45, just cutting off a little piece from each end, and make sure where your angle form is right where your slit is. Now to open the slit and to keep it open so you can force the foam in the space, I used a paintbrush that has a very large tip, and that helped to keep the space open so I could force the stake over the foam. And you would slide the brush along as you are pushing the stake to keep that space open. Yay, success. So now that I've shown you how I did this one, I will go ahead and do the other sides. Now because the stakes are the same length, and you know you have 2 long sides and 2 short sides, I had to cut down 2 of the sides for the shorter side. A lot of sides there, Christine. So I just took the X-Acto knife and measured the length that I needed, and left maybe like about 1/4 of an inch on one end. And then like I did for the longer side, I just trim that off and then cut them down at an angle, and then slid them on just like I did for the other sides. So there you go. Now to cover up those open spaces at the corners, I took some spackle and used that to cover the holes and left it to dry for a few days. And then I took some gold metallic paint and just painted over the spackle. Now I did not film that part, but you'll see that in the final reveal. Now let's move on to DIY number 3, This is our inspiration piece, shiny nickel balls, and these are the items you're going to be needing. So I took the Mod Podge and some of the white paint and diluted that with some water, just enough that I thought that I would need. And I'm doing this because in my mind I'm going to be getting white balls, but that didn't work, and you'll see that in the end. So then I took the balloons and I blew them up, one big and one small, to the desired size. And if you have never seen me make jute balls before, I will leave this video right here where you can check out how I used the same process to make a pumpkin a few years ago. Now I'm showing you here, you can either soak the jute in the liquid, or you can wrap the jute around the balloon and then pour the solution over it. That's the process I'm going to be using. I started by tying the jute around the neck of the balloon, and then I'm wrapping in circles to give me pegs, making sure that I am meeting at the base every time I go around. And once I've gotten enough of those little pegs, I'm now going in another direction, and as you are wrapping, you want to make sure that you're pulling the jute tight enough so it's not slipping off the balloon as you're wrapping, and try not to go in the same direction or the same line each time. And to give you a little bit more leverage, you can, when you get to the neck of the balloon, you can wrap the jute a few times around that until you are done. Now once you are satisfied with how many times you want to go around, then you just snip off the jute and tie the end at the top. And that's it for this one. Now I'm going to be using the same process for the bigger one. Now I should have started with the bigger one first because I realized I didn't have enough jute for the big balloon, so I'm using butcher's twine, which is a little softer than the regular jute cord, and that was a bad idea, but I won't give you the spoiler alert. You'll see that at the end. So here you're going to be doing the same process just like you see me doing, and I did that until I was done, and I just secured the end of the jute just like I did for the other one at the top, wrapping it and tying it a few times. Now to make the solution a little bit more gooey and gluey, I added some school glue to that. Now you're going to need also a big bucket or pail, and when pouring the solution, make sure that you have like a surface that's dry, because this is very messy, guys. It's very messy, so that's why your container that you're pouring into needs to be wide enough. And once you have poured, you pour back into the little cup, and then pour again, pour back into the little cup, pour again, until everything is covered. And when you're satisfied that it's all soaked, then you're good. Now I had to leave mine in my spare bathroom in the bath to dry for a few days, and when it eventually dried, left it to dry for a few days. Now you don't want to leave your balls drying too long, because the balloons are going to start losing air, and then your balls are going to be sagging. Now when the balls are all dry, you're going to take a sharp instrument and pierce the balloon and allow the air to disperse. And then once that is done, then you just remove the balloon from the inside. This is what happened with my big ball. Now I had to call that done, defeated, and I'm only left with one. So as you saw, I used something sharp to pierce the balloon, let the air out, and then I took the end of the paintbrush, kind of force it to one side and then pulled it out. And this is so sturdy, so sturdy, unlike the bigger ball that just flopped. But anyway, that's that. So here we are for our final reveal. This is our little blessed sign that's hanging in my office right over my desk. And yes, I am blessed. Over my desk. And yes, I am blessed. Catch that? And this is our little jute ball right on the little banister that I have in my living room. And here is my roadmap wall art. It cost me $1.25 for the foam and $1.25 for the stakes. So that's $2.50. I already had paint. And look at mine compares to the inspiration piece. Woo. Now guys, let me know what you think about these. These are hanging on the wall right below my staircase. And they're gonna remain right there. And here we go again with our blessed sign. Now guys, don't forget to check out the playlist. I want to thank CJ and Zulia for hosting yet another successful Look for Less challenge, and for Zaina for being our co-host this time around. And guys, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and if you have not yet done so, please do so before you leave. And if you love budget friendly content like this, be sure to check out this video right here or this playlist, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye.